Okay, good afternoon, Dev. So my name is Vineet. I have approximately 4 years of experience in the Node and a bit in the React itself. I have worked around about 4 to 5 projects on Node, and I have also contributed in React, but it is quite less. It is just for the form sakes. And the last project I was working on was a social media related project. So, and my roles and responsibilities were I was the person who was responsible for the admin module. I have made the chat module also with the socket.io, and I also contributed in the streaming part. So they recently introduced the streaming web stream, and we were using RDMP protocol for it.
So, Vineet, how much do you have experience in Node.js?
So it is close to 4 years.
Okay. So, have you any exposure in front-end technologies?
I have with React, but it is very less because I was more focusing on the backend part. Uh, I have done I have last on the last projects I was dealing with the admin part. We have to make some pages and different things. So I have contributed with the React, but not that much. Means the extensive work with the user interface and the experience. So not that much, but yes, I have a bit experience with the React.
So, any exposure on Socket.io and Redis?
Yes, in the last in the current project only, we were using the Redis as a cache database, and with the socket I have made the means the streaming the chat part of the project, and also we were using the socket part. See, we made a means particular thing when the video streaming in the with the chat we can write the comments so that we they are instantaneously visible. Second, we were also using the socket.io because we had the tokens. So when we have to give the tokens on the live stream, so we were using the chat socket.io for that for the data procedure.
Okay, Vineet. So, have you any experience in microservices architecture?
See, I have made the microservice architecture, but the deployment part is a bit. Uh, I have to read more about it because we were basically deploying in the containerization part. So through the API gateway and different things. So yes, I have to a bit study about it. But it all I know about the microservices architecture, but about the deployment part, so it is a bit less.
Okay, fine, Vineet. So, let's start with the JavaScript first.
Okay.
So, what is closure function?
Closure function. So basically, in the closure, what it happens is when we, re- when we run a function inside a function, but the inside function can have the access to the variables of the parent function. So that is basically the closure function.
What is hoisting?
Hoisting, basically, see, hoisting is like there are two keywords in the JavaScript, var and the normal function keyword. So in the function keyword, what happens is the it is defined before and the value is given afterwards. So with the priority level, the function keyword gets the first priority, and the after that the var keyword. So it's something like that. If we define something with var, the variable would be defined first, and the value will be given later. So that is basically called hoisting.
So, can we prevent this hoisting? Like, the hoisting is a default mechanism in JavaScript.
See, with the help of the latent const, we can have those variables, and we can have them in the block scope wherever we want. So in that way, we
Oh,
can prevent.
okay, fine. What is the difference between set interval and set timeout?
Set interval and set timeout. See, set interval is whenever you want to run a function after a particular interval of time. It's like after 10 seconds or maybe 30 seconds, you want to run that particular function. In the interval time, like after every 30 seconds or after 1 minute every time. And with the set timeout, it is like after that period of time, it's like it would run and it is done. It's like after 5 seconds, you want to run a function, it would be just one time only. But with the interval, it would be keep running after that particular point of time. And we have also one thing more. So it is just process.next tick. In that one, there are two priorities basically. So timeout and the next tick. So after a particular process event loop finishes, set timeout comes at that particular point of time. But the with the process.next tick, we can just run that particular timer function or something function after that particular tick or the event which is running after that. So if we have to set the priorities or we have something particular to occur in that point, so we can use that also. So those are the differences.
Okay, fine. What is the return type of find and filter function?
Sorry,
What is the return type of find and filter function?
find. Are you talking about the MongoDB part?
No, asking about it in JavaScript.
In the filter, it is generally the return type is an array.
And what is for find function?
For find, I think the similar is that it was written an array only. Use it.
Okay. Have you used a map function, array.map?
Yes.
What's the purpose of using a map function?
Basically, if you have an array of object and you want to extract particular values from it, so you use the array, you use the dot map method to get the particular key value from the array of object. So, but map is something like you are creating a new array. So, if there is an array of array and object, so if you want that particular key to in the values of those keys, so you map those values, and then you get a new array with those particular values. So that is the reason that we use the map function.
Okay. What is the use of spread operator?
Spread operator. See, if you have a value and you want to spread those keys, so that is one of the reasons that if you have 2 to 3 arrays in a particular uh, array and we want all the values to be into a new array. So we can just write that particular array and we can use the three dots in the starting and all the values would be out there with the particular, they would be spread. They will not be in the form of array inside an array. They would be like only the values will be there on the reason in the different indexes.
Okay, please check your chat. What is the use of this syntax? What will be the output of A and B here?
Same way, so basically we are spreading out the values. So A would be equal to 1 and B equal to B 2, but
So
C
which
would be
type?
in different.
Yeah, which type of index it is? Which type of syntax?
It is we have an object inside that we have some particular values and we are uh, using those values. So it is particularly to give the values. So it's we are using to the spread value to give the values to it. It is like when you are destructuring the bodies,
Yeah,
request body. So it's the similar kind of a thing.
yeah, it's the object descriptor. this
Yes.
structure.
Yes.
Okay, what are the high order functions?
See, with the higher order functions, so one is closure, and second is I forgot the name. I'm sorry. Closure comes in the higher order functions, and one more. There are two functions generally which are called in higher order functions. I'm forgetting the second's name. Sorry.
Okay,
Normally, I think the callback functions also come in the uh,
yeah,
higher order functions when we are
yeah,
passing the function inside a function as an argument. So that also comes in a higher order function because the lower order functions are normal functions, or we can say arrow functions are also called in the comes on
yeah,
the same category.
yeah. Yes, the function which has passed as an argument is a callback function, and in which function we have passed the callback function, it is a high order.
Higher order function,
Yeah, map, find or filter, all are the high order function because
higher
it
order
returns
function, map
all.
filter, or we say that for the for each also
Yeah.
comes inside that particular category. Yes.
Okay. Uh, have you heard about the term debouncing?
Debouncing and throttling, I have heard about them, and they were used in the recent in the front end part. The React developers were using it. So I have heard about them, but I have never used in the backend part. So it's generally after a particular, like if you're searching something, it's like you're debouncing or throttling it after a particular point of time. It's like you're
Yeah, it
after
will
two
be.
to three or after 2 to 3 words in the key in the search space, so you just hit that and you debounce it. You have a particular wait for it, the next condition, and then you bounce it. So I think that is the thing that happens in the debounce part. And with the throttling, till the point of time the whole process doesn't complete, you don't throttle it. After that you just throttle the function to carry on the process.
Okay, fine. Okay, move to the Node.js.
Okay.
Okay, what is the use of event loop in Node.js?
See, event loop basically checks about the thread. So as we know that Node.js is a single threaded language. So what generally happens is when the event loop checks if the thread has been occupied or not. Generally, what happens is when we run the code, it goes to the functional area, and then after that, those asynchronous tasks, which takes a time, so they go to the worker threads. They are been completed out there. Synchronous functions, they take the thread space, and after that, when the worker thread completes the task, they come to the callback queue. So after that, we have an event loop, which basically checks that if the thread has been occupied or not. So if the thread is not occupied and the functions are been run and they have been executed, so after that, from the callback queue, generally the task which has been completed, asynchronous task, they are sent to the main thread so that they have been executed after that. So that is the main task of the event loop, to make the synchronization between the callback queue and the thread, so that it is not barred at any point of time.
So we need to we have a callback and a promises.
Yes.
Both are used to execute our execution in asynchronous manner. So
Yes.
what are the differences between the callback and the promises?
See, the first difference is like callback is like we are passing the argument as a function only. So that is one of the biggest difference. But with the callback is what happens is like the another function should be executed, and after that this function would execute, and there are chances that till the point of time the argument function is not been completed, this would not complete. And if there are nested callback, So it might happen that it may crash or it may take a lot of time, and it will go to the state means where it is not returning a value. With the promises, generally, what is we have to just हमें जो कंडीशन है उससे जो कॉल बैक की कंडीशन है, कॉल बैक हेलो और pyramid of doom, what we call it, to not to have that, we use the promises. Generally there are three states. One is fulfilled, pending, or rejected. So it would give out a value generally. And that is one of the reason that promises are more used nowadays rather than callbacks.
Suppose we have a function and
Okay.
in our node application, and in front of this function we have add a keyword like async.
Okay.
So if we call this function, so what is the return type of this function?
I'm sorry, can you please come again?
Yeah, suppose we have a async function.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. If we call this function, so
Okay.
what would be the return type of this function?
So generally it is like object or with an array, within an array it is generally object, or if it is a promise then it would have the state in it, like fulfilled, pending, rejected, till the point of time if it is not been hit. And yes, that is, and if it is returning some value then it would return that particular value, but it is generally the object return type. But if you are returning an array or something else, then it would return that particular thing, but the return type is generally the object.
Okay. Suppose we have a multiple functions which we have to execute in a parallel manner with the help of uh, promise.
Okay.
So which method we can use to execute our request in a parallel manner?
So generally we can use by two methods. One is promise.all and the second one is promise.all settled.
What are the
So
differences between these two?
see, promise.all, what happens is like we are running the all the particular functions or the things concurrently. But if an error comes, if a particular thing has been rejected, so it will give the error at that instantaneous point of time, and it will come out of that particular thing. But with the all settled, if any error comes in any of the promises, then it will not come out of that particular of the promise as a bunch, as an array of promises, but it will settle all. So that is the main difference between promise not all and all settled. It will run all the promises, and in the end, it will give the result that which promises have been fulfilled and which have been failed. But with the promise.all, if any of the promises has been rejected, then it will give you the error at the same point of time.
Okay. So what is the use of using middleware?
In the Node.js, we say that middlewares are the functions which connect two functions basically, and middlewares are generally have the access to the response and the request object. So what happen is like if we want to suppose we have to check the authorizations of a user. So we make a middleware. We can have that in the route itself. Everywhere we can import that particular function. And after the route has been hit, we can have that middleware to check the authorizations. And after that only we can send that particular request to the service which we want to run. So that is the reason that if we want to manipulate our request and response object, we can use the middlewares in that. We have the next keyword in it, and if we don't have the next keyword on successful response, then the next function would not be triggered. So that is why we use the middlewares.
So what is the use of event emitter?
Event emitter. So it's particularly like in the socket also we use the means dot emit function. So it's particularly to after request has been hit or something been hit. So after to emit a particular event, it's like on process dot on click or on dot function. So we emit a particular event. So it's like if a particular route has been hit, then we can emit a particular event, a particular message from the backend side or the server side. So in those processes also we use the emit function, event emitter. So on a particular event, on a particular kind of an event, we can emit a particular response.
Okay. What is the use of JWT token?
Basically, it is used for the authorization purpose, and it is normally token is saved on the client side. So it generally has three aspects in it. So one is the algorithm, secret key, and a particular data from the user, whichever it is. So with the JWT, we authorize a particular request. That is JSON Web Token. And currently, there are many algorithms which are being used in the uh, industry. So we have RSA 256, 128, SHA 256, 128, and there are many more. So it is up to the project which one is the best suited for it. It is basically for the authorization purposes. And with the data of that particular user which we are using in the JWT token, we can have from the database. It's like if we have the ID in it, because ID is if we are saving the ID and it is unique, so we can have that particular data of the from the database and can check if the particular request is from the user itself and all the keys are correct or not. So it is in purpose.
Okay. Fine. What is the use of aggregation function in MongoDB?
Yeah, aggregation function is basically if we have to run up a particular pipeline of queries. So that's why we use the aggregation one. It's like we use lookups inside it. We use the project. We use the group. We use the match or a different kind of things which we use inside the aggregation. So it is the series of the queries if we want to run particular inside it. So that to run that particular pipeline, we need the aggregation function.
What is the use of unwind operator?
Unwind operator is generally it's like when we use the lookup function. So the return type is array of objects. So if we want that particular array, we don't want that particular array of object in the value. It's like result is generally array of object. So if we want that result value is an object rather than array of object. So it would unwind all the objects and it would give a value to the result and have multiple data with a different. If it's like if we have five objects inside in an array, and so it would make five different array of object means the object in the result, and every result would have a different one like zeroth index, first index object, second index object. So we have five different objects with the five different values. So the unwind operator is used for that purpose.
Okay. So what is the use of group operator?
Group operator is basically used for grouping a particular elements on some basis. It is like dollar group is we have underscore ID and underscore ID. Inside that we can have any key like a name or age or maybe username. If a username has many things that's done in that particular thing, and after that we can have our count function or maybe different function. So it is to group up inside a particular collection on a particular basis of
Okay.
key
So Vineet,
value.
please share your screen and open any online compiler. Vineet, I have done my side.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I will give my feedback to that.